Welcome back to the Beyond the Bestseller podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Schuknecht, and today's guest is Dr. Jessica Schloemp, author of The Leader Within Her. Welcome, Jessica.
Thank you.
Can I call you Jessica, or do I have to call you Dr. Schloemp?
I prefer Dr. J. No, you can call me Jess. It's totally fine.
I love when I have female doctors on. I had Dr. Christy on recently also, and
Okay.
yes, I was like, I feel weird calling you not saying. I know some people are very particular about having doctor in their, used in their name. So, anyways.
I worked hard for
Jess.
it, but it's okay. You can call me Jess.
All right, so we're going to start with The Leader Within Her. So,
Yes.
Somebody had connected us on LinkedIn because you were announcing the publication of this book. At the time of this recording, it is just out, but it will have been out for a few months by the time this actually goes live.
Yeah.
But you just released it. So tell me about your book and why you wrote it.
Yeah, great question. I never saw myself as an author or a future author, but try not to go out on too far of a tangent. I actually received my doctorate, and I focused around writing a manuscript for my dissertation. So I actually am not practicing medicine or anything like that. So I got my doctorate in strategic leadership with a concentration in coaching and consulting. And so during that 3-year journey, I really focused around women in leadership and kind of my journey and what really transpired was unfolding in front of me. And so a lot of different things transpired. I wrote a lot in regards to my experiences, what I've seen, tons of research, so very science-backed book as well with The Leader Within Her. I've changed the title 4 or 5 times. But when I first initially started this journey, it really started out as a dissertation. So very different writing for a dissertation. So what's crazy is that my editor and publisher changed it from 9 chapters, and I'm pretty sure there's now 33 chapters in my book.
So did they break up the 9 chapters into, like, they broke them up, not like we took 9 and then we added
Right.
20, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever that math is.
Yeah, we definitely added more to it, expanded out on storytelling and stuff like that, because, starting from a dissertation, a manuscript that is fully educational to now needing to be in bite-sized chunks that can be understood and useful and practical, it was very different.
Yeah. So side note to this conversation, I want to connect you with some people that I've had on this podcast before. Just like hearing a little bit about that, because I actually had Allison Miller on, who is her book is about finishing your dissertation. I think it's finish your dissertation once and for all, or something like that.
Anyways, that's awesome.
You've finished yours, but it seems like a great contact for you to have. Anyways, so tell me about, how do you learn about leadership when, in school? I feel like that's such an interesting thing. I have been a leader in my career, kind of accidentally. I think for a lot of people, you start working and people see you as, oh, you can manage things, you can, whatever. You start on this leadership path without really, you're not intending to. But it's interesting to me, hearing that, I went into this as a program in a school. How do you know that that's something that you want to pursue, and how do you learn about leadership in school versus in the workplace?
Yeah, that's a very great question. So first and foremost, I feel like I am a natural born leader, and some people aren't. So I think just pause there. If you're not a naturally born leader, that is okay. It's learnable, it's repeatable skill that can be taught and learned. And so for me, like I played Division I basketball in college. I was a captain my junior and senior year. Like I really excelled in regards to that leadership. So I feel like it was very innate. It was very natural for me to lead. But then obviously translating into, corporate America, where leadership is defined very differently, which I talk about in my book as well. And then, transitioning out of more of a corporate, huge, you're a number type company to now I work in a smaller company and opening up my own business as well. It's a very different feel for that. And so I was always passionate about leadership. And so I wanted to extend my knowledge. I am a person of learning, of researching, of growing and expanding my intellect and my knowledge, and I'm super curious. I'm a very curious person. And so when I was seeking to get my doctorate, just a personal endeavor for me, it had nothing to do with my career, had nothing to do with money. It was something I wanted to accomplish for myself, which is very expensive to do for yourself personally. But I was super passionate about leadership. And so I was seeking a great program. And then I stumbled across Regent University, which is a Christian-based university, which is awesome for me. So not only was I learning more about leadership and diving deep into that, I had to add in scripture. And so I personally have never read the Bible from start to finish. And so I had to incorporate both into like my leadership writings and my learnings. And so it was very challenging for me. And so what this really consisted of is having these breakout sessions, obviously these classes of these professors where they focused on said leadership qualities. I know I had one around strategic leadership. You learn different styles of leadership. It's absolutely amazing. I think that if someone can afford it, if someone wants to invest, it's an awesome opportunity. But really what I learned is I think our society says like, oh, leadership is, you are naturally born with it. It can't be learned. And I rebuttal that. I say, yes, leadership can be, but it's not the only path. I think that there are numerous people, even on my team. I have 35 individuals on my team, and there are a few naturally born leaders on our team, but there are also leaders that I have created or helped mold into the leader that they become, and it was taught. And so I think that you can't just take on society's view of anything, honestly. I know we're focusing around leadership, but society's view around leadership and what is said, I don't think that's accurate. And I think what's so cool is what I put in my book is women's superpowers. We have so many innate superpowers that we can bring out in ourselves that are actual leadership qualities and traits. And so really kind of what I think in regards to women and our superpowers is our intuition. What is our gut telling us? If we truly follow our gut and we actually follow those red flags, that we get sometimes, and we go with our intuition, that's a superpower. I think that it's something that you need as a leader, especially when you're recruiting and hiring and having conversations, reading people. I think that you really have to go with your gut on that. Another leadership trait that I feel is a superpower for women is empathy. Usually we're highly connected with people and understand how people are feeling in their different situations. We can really relate to that. And then intention, having that purpose around leading and being very intentional in our actions and what we say and how we make people feel. Another superpower that I talk about in The Leader Within Her is grit. It's being able to face obstacles and challenges. So some women, they are focused on themselves and, not so much around a family. But you also have many women that have families. So that grit of facing obstacles and challenges happen on a daily basis, regardless of where you are in your journey as a woman. But what I see over and over again is women facing obstacles and overcoming them and not really being bothered by it. It's something that we just innately do, is getting over obstacles. So whether you are juggling tons of schedules, whether you're multitasking, or just even a stay-at-home mom that's handling the day-to-day of families, like that grit is a superpower for women, which takes us into resilience, right? Just rising again and again and again and being stronger each time we rise, which I think is extremely important. And then lastly, I talk about in my book is communication. So using the voice for influence, which is often related to leadership. So I think instead of just, informing people, women are really good at communicating and influencing people, and not to manipulate or to, mess with their minds. It's really to communicate, to get that out there, which I think is so critical for leadership as well.
So I want to go back to one of the things you mentioned about, this was earlier on, you had mentioned that when we go into the work environment, leadership is, I can't remember how you said it, but something about like leadership is they see it differently than what it really is. Is that yes. I want you to talk a little bit about that, and just what you meant by that, because that part stuck in my brain is what is the difference in what a real leader is and what the expectation is in the workplace? Yeah,
I kind of skimmed through that really quickly. So I feel like and I'm not saying every company. I know the company that I'm with right now, it's through and through. They think of leaders, but in the book I mention manager versus leader. But let me stick to kind of the corporate setting, right? So in a lot of companies, they view leadership as tenure. You've been here for 20 years. Here's a leadership title, right? So it's more of the title and not necessarily the trait or the role that the person has within them. So sometimes, companies will invest and try to grow out leadership skills and really focus on that. But a lot of times, at least within my experience, right, I live in my own little bubble and I only have my experience and even the people that share with me their experiences. But oftentimes I find that individuals are being promoted to leadership because they've been there so long. It's not around their knowledge, their influence. It's not around who they are as a person. It's not even if they would be a good people leader. I oftentimes talk to leaders that are honest with me and I actually don't see myself as a people leader. I don't want to be a people leader. And I think that is so critical to actually growing and expanding your people. And putting leaders in the wrong seats just because they've been there a long time or they've quote unquote proven themselves with their loyalty. Well, this person has never been late. They've never called out. They've never had a problem in their life. I'm going to promote them. And I think that we really have to get away from promoting people into leadership based off of that, but really being intentional and asking the question, do you want to be a people leader? And I think those conversations of having those deeper connections and understanding the leaders that you want to put in these different positions and these different titles need to be deeper. They need to be understood. And if we take the time to do that, companies would be so much stronger. And not only that, but their people would be more engaged, more collaborative. The turnover would be lower. You really have to invest and understand who you're actually putting in these roles and in these seats.
Mm-hmm. So, okay. I have a question for you on just some of the things that you're talking about. So I've had the experience of, I totally agree with you. Like, you can't just promote people based on like, oh, you've been here for 5 years, And I think there's things within certain people, like it's like, oh, but I've been here longer than that person. Like, I should have that position. Like, so I know where that some of that comes from.
Yeah.
And then I've also had the experience of like thinking that somebody will be able to be in a leadership role and then putting them in a role and seeing that they really don't have, like, I think as, excuse me, hang on. I have a tickle in my throat. We will edit this part out.
Like a mint or anything?
No, but it just like all of a sudden hit me. I think I'm okay. 15 minutes in, we have to edit that. So I've had the experience of putting people in roles where they can't do it. And I think some of it is I am like, it's a natural skill set for me. So like I'm like, why can't you do that? Like, why can't you see that this person needs direction from you, or that, they need guidance in the work that they're doing, and like you need to oversee it. Like I it's hard for me to. So my question is, how do you assess somebody for those leadership skills? And like you mentioned, it might be trainable, but like, how do you know what's trainable and what is just like, this is a lost cause, like this is not going to work?
Right. And I think what you said, Kelly, in regards to like, I think this person would be a good leader. I think that as a leader, we have to be more intentional and have those critical conversations. So that's really what I meant by in regards to, hey, I don't want to be a people leader, or hey, even if you're saying, I want to lead people, why? Like, what is it about it? Because I'm telling you right now, leadership is lonely. And it's not for everyone. And my book explains that, because I want to make sure that people are like, oh my gosh, I want to be a leader because of X, Y, and Z. Well, are those like authentic reasons? Like, my passion for leadership drives my passion to grow and inspire and bring out the best in people. Like, that is what my passion is. And that's why I want to be a leader. That's why I'm passionate about leadership. If someone sits here and says, well, I want to make more money, or, well, I don't know, I just feel like that's the natural projection for me, right? I've been here for 20 years. I just think that's like a natural step for me. Or like, well, I've been doing this role for so long, it's the only opportunity to move up. Right, so I think that if we feel that we have a great leader, or we think that there's a leader in the making, right, in the wings waiting, I think those intentional conversations need to continue. It's not just a one and done. It's not just a conversation of saying, hey, I think you'd be great for this role. Here's what it entails. And they're like, all right, cool, I'm game. Okay, well, I think we need to ask more open-ended questions than just cool, I'm game, and really understand if they would be a good fit, right? I think that we can challenge them. We can put them in certain situations. We can role play with them. We can really dive deeper into promoting someone, especially if they work within the company. Right, I think it's a little bit more difficult to understand if they're a good leader if they're coming from outside the company and they're a new leader, right? Because that's a completely different feel. For me, I've been at this company for 4 years, so they didn't know me from Adam. So, they had to take a chance on me. And I can put a plug here. I don't think companies take a chance on enough people. I think that we're really relying on AI and all of these kickers to go through a resume and dial down the wrong people. Anyone can get a job nowadays just based off of what they're putting on their resume. Anyway, off my soapbox. So if for me, when I'm hiring, and I know I'm not necessarily hiring in a leadership role, but when I'm hiring, I'm very intentional. And so I'm taking the approach of I'm a hell yes or I'm a no. It's straight up that way. I am not going to be desperate on hiring the wrong person because it's more toxic, it's more timely, it's more expensive than hiring the right person the first time.
Right.
And so I'm going to do my due diligence. Honestly, people that listen are probably like, oh my gosh, you're so silly. But I don't even look at their resume before I interview them because I want to give everyone a fair shot. Yes, our HR, they do their first round. So it's not like I'm just going in blind. But I don't even look at the resume because I don't want to go in there with preconceived notions. I don't want to have different feelings about someone. I want to go in there and say, I'm going to lead with my gut. I'm going to lead with my superpower. Right? I'm going to make sure that I understand this person and what they're bringing and asking intentional questions based off of what they say. Mm-hmm. And so what's really cool about what we've implemented here at my company is once they do the interview, if I'm a hell yes, I'm bringing them back into shadow for an hour, our trainer, our team trainer, because I literally make the role sound awful. I make it sound like it's like picking up trash and pooper scooping. Like we are not, it's not pretty. And so like I want to make sure that they're not just looking for a role or a job just to find it. There's tons of roles out there. You can work anywhere, right? So I want to make sure not only are they a good fit for us, but that we're a good fit for them. Mm-hmm. And so that's really how I promote it. So I think there's two ways. I think that you have a leader within a company that you want to rise up, and you have to be very intentional and strategic on that approach. Being very hands-on, really grooming them to ensure that you are actually promoting the right person, that they're actually wanting to lead people, and what that entails. It's not pretty. It's not fun some days, but you have to have a true passion for it. And then also if you're bringing an outsider in, which I think is a lot more difficult because you do not have that time, you don't have that experience, you don't have that understanding of that person, you're taking a chance. But I would say that 9.9 out of 10, my gut's right. Mm-hmm. And I'm using that superpower. And I'm making sure that I'm leading with that when I'm hiring. Because I'm telling you right now, they say it takes 5 positive people to outweigh a negative. I don't deal with drama. I don't deal with gossip. That's not what we stand for. That's not what we're doing. And that's not what we're focused on. We're focused on creating an impact, enjoying what we do. Our day is going to be tough. Yes. Our moment's going to be challenging. Yes. But at the end of the day, we wake up and we enjoy what we do. I want it to be collaborative. I want them to understand that they have a voice and they can create change. Like those are the people that I want, and that is culture. That's the culture. Not like, oh, I get free dry cleaning and lunch on Fridays. That's not culture. So we need to stop normalizing that too in society. Like that's not culture. And what's really cool is that when I am interviewing people, I'm very transparent. Hey, honestly, I don't think this is a good fit, whether it's for the role or for the company in general, but I'm honest with them. I actually just had an interview with a young girl. She is really trying to find her own. She moved here, then moved back home and looking to move back. And she's didn't really have a focus, right? She didn't really know what she wanted to do. She just wanted to get in somewhere. And our company sounded like a fun place to work. And it was convenient in location in regards to where she wanted to move back to. So I challenged her in a lot of ways. I said, hey, I'm going to take off my interview hat right now. I'm going to put on my big sister hat. And I want to tell you some things. And I want you to be successful. And I want you to really take this in. Because someone's done you a disservice in telling you that this is how you show up for an interview. This is what you say in an interview. And not giving you that hard truth. And I really want you to focus and take the time on doing your research. Look through 500 job descriptions. I don't care how long it takes. Figure out what you want to do. Figure out what you actually like. And that's one of my questions when I interview people, because I think that we have 35 people on our team that have never done this role before and have never been in this industry. But they were confident. They knew that the things that we were offering, the things that they have to do on a daily basis is what fills up their cup. Mm-hmm. right? And I'm not saying I've never been wrong. We've made some hires that were wrong, but
yeah, sure.
you know, but at the end of the day, you really have to just continue to go with your superpowers.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to ask you a little bit about the writing process. You mentioned that this was a dissertation that turned into a book. So somewhat you were writing this for school. I mean, you were,
right.
You know, it was something you were doing because you had to, kind of. But at what point did you say, like, oh, I think I have a book here? Or did you you didn't go into the dissertation process thinking this was going to be a book? So, like, what was that shift in your mindset of what you had created with this?
Oh, Kelly, it was such a cool process, and it went quick. So I actually started this journey in January of 2025. Wow. Right. So, and I sat on my I sat on my manuscript. I sat on my dissertation for a few years. I graduated a few years ago. But I was inspired by one of my team members. And so one of my team members was writing a book, or, you know, writes books. And we started talking, and she's like, you should publish it. And I'm like, oh. Well, one of my other team members created this called Accountability Tribe. There's probably 20 of us in it. I joined it because I love goals. I love accomplishing things. I love writing it. We actually did a really cool vision board here. And we have like very intentional like meetings on it. It's so stinking cool. So those two events align perfectly. And I was like, you know what? I don't know. I think his name's Seb Terry, and he's all about like living out like your biggest goals and aspirations. He does TED Talks, and he's a very big motivational speaker. And my boss had told me about him. So we started talking about Seb Terry and about your big goals. Like, let's knock them out. And so I was talking to my other team member about writing a book, and I was like, you know what? If you don't put out a goal, if you don't put out what you want to accomplish out into the world, the likelihood of you accomplishing it is minute, is so small. So like if you actually say, I'm going to accomplish this, I'm going to do this, I want to travel here, I want to open this, I want to do this, the likelihood of you doing it increases substantially. And the more and more you say it out into the universe, the more and more likely you're actually going to accomplish it. So, like I said, I get on my soapboxes and I go on my tangents. So, I have another girl here that I work with who has co-authored and published books within our industry. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to reach out to her and I'm going to see what it's about. So I actually emailed her and she was on vacation. I said, hey, no rush. I just wanted to pick your brain and see if you have like an editor and publisher, like what that process is. She goes, here's my cell phone, text me, call me. And I go, you're on vacation. This can wait. Like, I've sat on it for a few years. It's not going anywhere. Yeah. And she got me in touch with Hillary, my publisher and my editor, and phenomenal human. Literally, we clicked. It's that gut feeling that I was telling you about. I was like, dude, I like you. We're going to work so well together. I'm so excited. And she nailed it. I mean, she completely nailed it. And she has obviously a whole team behind her that did my cover and did an illustration in my book about equity and equality. He actually ended up creating my podcast logo as well. Like, it's such a fun journey. But it was a lot, because if you can think about it, my book, The Leader Within Her, is very science driven. And so tons of research. I've sat on it for a few years. None of that research is relevant anymore.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
I had to go back in and re-tie in the correct dates, times, numbers. And so it was interesting, but long story short, like, the whole process was just eye-opening and just inspiring. And it was really cool, but I mean, when I'm telling you, you put it out there, it went so quick. So, not only did this person I work with, I don't know if I can share names or not, because I know in my book I couldn't, but so Leslie, she's like, girl. She's like, here you go. Here's Hillary. And then she goes, I actually might have another opportunity for you. And I'm like, okay. She's like, would you want to co-write, be a co-author in Financial Trendsetters 2? So she was in Financial Trendsetters 1. And so she's like, I have an opportunity for you. So while I'm writing or like, editing my manuscript, I'm also writing a chapter at the same time, and wrote a chapter in Financial Trendsetters 2. And it became bestseller as well. So it was just such a really cool ride and experience. But then that actually opened me up to opening up my own coaching and consulting firm, because I had to have an action step, an action plan within my book. And so it was just a whirlwind of stuff that happened so quickly. Then also, launching my podcast by hopefully the end of the year. So my leadership podcast. So it was so cool. It was such an awesome experience.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's such a great story. It's great that you had something to start with, that you could, but still, I think taking something existing like that and then like reworking it is also just a lot of, I don't know if it's more work than writing it from scratch, but like it is a lot of work. I've talked with a lot of people who are like, I have all these blog posts and I want to turn them into a book. And I'm like, that's great. But like, yes, a lot of the work is done, but now you have to it's more work that you created for yourself to go and, figure out how to put it together like that. So
like the whole flow. And then, like I told you, it was like very science driven. So redoing all of my research, adding in stories, making it from a dissertation, very educational, written, to more of a leadership book, right? Like a guide, key strategies to really grow out and expand your leadership. Like it was really cool. I actually texted Hillary a couple weeks ago. I said, so you ready for the next one? And she goes, what you got? And I was like, I was just kidding. Like, need a break.
I was excited when you said that, because I was like, oh, you should. I'm doing I'm hosting a writing retreat for women in January. So I was like, oh, if you're going to write another book, you got to come to the retreat.
Okay, so I will be honest. I'm pregnant and due January 16th. So I don't know if I'll make it.
Probably not going to happen.
Oh, shoot.
Well, yeah, maybe the next one. But
right.
Whenever you get that energy back to start another book project, we'll stay connected.
Yeah.
Well, Jess, I'll link to the book in the show notes.
Okay.
What other way can listeners or viewers learn more about you online or connect with you?
Yeah, so you can check out my LinkedIn. I just got Instagram back from after 20 years of being off the grid. So I'm really trying to put myself out there professionally. Yes, and then also Revive and Rise Consulting is my company, my coaching and consulting company. So not only can you buy the book on Amazon, and as I said earlier, it's in paperback, e-back, and hardback. And then the audio, I actually did my own audiobook. So I don't know about all of y'all, but I hate my voice. And it was so hard. I was like, I don't want to listen to this. It's kind of like writing too. Like I don't ever want to read this again. And it's such an intimate, vulnerable chapter though, like in my life of like, okay, cool, I'm going to do my own audiobook. And so the audiobook, it's completely done, but it's still being edited. So it should actually roll out within the next couple of weeks as well for being available. But yes, I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram. It's my name, Jessica Schloemp. You don't have to call me doctor. And then Revive and Rise Consulting. But if you do pick up a copy of the book, there's a QR code that launches you out to free guides and templates that I've created for not only growing in your superpowers, but then I also created the True Team Method just from being in this role and realizing that we have to put a lot more intentionality around leadership and growing people. Not only growing people, but growing culture, growing the leadership. And so I think that's going to be really useful too.
Great. Well, thank you, Jessica. Thanks for coming on and sharing your book. And I wish you the best of luck. Again, we are recording just after this book came out, literally, 2 days ago?
Yes.
And this won't air for a few months, so I wish you the best of luck between now and then. I hope you're book sells and, that you accomplish everything you want from that. So thanks for coming on, and also congratulations on the baby to come.
Thank you, Kelly. I really appreciate you reaching out. I think that, like I said, everything happens for a reason, and I might have you on my podcast too. So be reaching back out.
I would love that.
Looking for a community of women writers to support and inspire you on your journey? Join the Author Power Circle. Connect weekly with fellow authors, stay accountable, and move your book forward in an encouraging community. Learn more at kellyschuknecht.com.